Nope, that's it.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Good. Well, then I'll have to concentrate on photographing some more paintings.
Yes.
And sketches and stuff like that, huh?
But first, I need your artist page.
Yeah, okay, well, I'll do that first, and maybe Mom can type it and just email it over to you.
Or just handwrite it out and send it over to me. I'll type it up. Either way.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, good. I will do it.
Because I want it kind of in its best form for when you've got, when people from your Christmas card list start to look at it. Because right now, so you go here and pretty bad.
Well, it must be to a certain degree natural, you know, bred in, because I can remember, I think I was no more than 6 years old, and my mom would bring back the meat wrapped in this red butcher paper, and I'd be drawing airplanes and stuff on the red butcher paper, you know. Then up at summer camp, I'd work with temperas up there, and they would have special things like they call the tornado, which was kind of like a circus, and so we did posters, and so I would always win the prizes for posters, and the reward was they would take a truckload of the winners to town, and you'd get go to a movie, and then you'd swim at Duck Lake in the evening, late afternoon, and then after the movie they'd stop at a place called the Dairy where you could get a milkshake or ice cream cone or.
You just can't party.
Mm-hmm. So and a couple of them I did for Jim, and so he won too. The kids said, "You didn't do that. Your brother did that." No, I said, "I'm pretty good at it." So, yeah, I remember when I was going to college, out at Wright Junior, you know. And I went there for a year, and this is 1946, right after I got out of the service. Loaded with GIs, you know, and I mean, here you've been all around the world and everything, and all of a sudden you're in a school situation. There was very few books. They would, like here I'm taking a course in accounting, and no books, just Xerox sheets and everything, you know.
Mm.
So I was there for a year, and I thought, no. I started thinking about it again, and I thought, well, I've always enjoyed art. And I thought, maybe I'll just go to art school and go into commercial art, you know. Because everybody said, well, that's really competitive, you know, you can't make any money in art and so forth, you know. I thought, well, somebody's making money in art. Somebody's making a living in art. If they can do it, I can do it, you know. So, so I did. I went to Mr. Harrison's class. He had, it was called Advertisers Art School.
In Wright Junior?
No, I quit college there. And then I went to this downtown. I go down every day for, I don't know, I think it must have been close to 2 years, something like that. And he taught, that's what he taught, was layout and using brushes, washes, lettering, airbrushing, things like that.
Which college was this?
It wasn't a college, it was a school, you know. It wasn't an actual college.
These are the two art schools you said you went to?
No, no, that was another one. That was the first one I went to. And then while I was going to art school, this friend of mine, Bill Poole from Lawrence Hall, he was selling printing through Crudson Printing. So he said, hey, he says, how would you like to work part-time for the artist down there? So I'd go right from art school to the printing company, and then the artist would be leaving about then, and he'd lay out drawings and things that he wanted me to do, and then he would use them in the morning. See? which was really eye-opening because going from art to printing is quite a jump, you know. Totally different things. All of a sudden your art you have to use within the confines of the printing equipment, you see. So I did that for quite a while, and then I called up Mr. Harris and I talked to him, and he got me a job at the Chicago Sun-Times. And so I worked at the Chicago Sun-Times in the advertising department, which was a real good experience. But then that's when Mom and I got married, came back from honeymoon, found out that I was terminated. It was, you know, well, see, the Sun bought out the Times. Well, or the Times bought, I don't know about who, but the guy who was the art director, he was one of the old Times men, and a lot of the new people were what they would call Sun men.
Oh.
So it's kind of a little bit of a, you know, so I think if you had to lay anybody off, it would be a new Sun man, see. So, and anyhow, I was getting tired of working just in black and white. Although I hated to lose the job. Boy, that was really tough then, you know. But Mom was working, you know. She was a statistician with Alden's mail order. So she kept working, and then I would run ads in the Chicago Tribune for jobs wanted, and I'd put down freelance art, design, you know, temporary or permanent, whatever, you know. So Pierce Temple saw the ad at Hecco, and he gave me jobs to do for 2-3 weeks, and then finally asked if I wanted to work full time, you know. So that's how I got going there. But you know, I never looked back because I always enjoyed what I did, and my whole career has been in graphics, either, you know, art is related to printing, trying to produce and printing what was created in art, and then into print production and printing sales, and you figure out the whole time when I was going to these art schools, I went to Northwestern for, what was it, I think 4 semesters at night, in the downtown school, you know, and I took courses in advertising, and of course I got A's all the way through in advertising, you know, and then the Institute of Design, silk screen, layout, photo montage, package design, things like that. Because, you know, I figured that way I could hold a full-time job and have the income from it, which I needed, and then at the same time I could learn at night, see. So a lot of times I'd drive downtown, and even in the winter, and I'd always stop at the YMCA on Chicago Avenue, and I'd go in there and cold, you know. In those days you could just park right out in front, you know, which I'm sure you can't do today, but I'd park the car and go in there and get a pot of tea and a chicken pot pie or something, and then I'd go down another 6 blocks to Northwestern, or to whatever art school I was going to, you know. So that way I figured that with all the experience and everything I've done, I've got to have a master's degree in graphics, you know. Because see, in those days, a lot of what I learned and did, they didn't teach in college. You know, I mean, if you took an art course, it was like studying ancient masters, techniques, art trends over the ages, early American painting, things like that, you know. None of which was applicable to commercial art. And if I wanted a job, if I went in there and said, "Well, I've got a master's degree in art," they'd say, "Well, yeah, okay, but let me see your samples." Mm-hmm. That's all they were interested in. See, they look at your samples and they can tell where you are in artwork. You see, so. anyhow, I always felt it was real nice to do what you like to do, you know. I always enjoyed everything associated with art, so wherever I worked, even in printing or any of those things, I enjoyed it. You know?
Mm-hmm.
A lot of guys work all their life and don't enjoy it.
It's true.
And of course now I can, like I used to squeeze in watercolors in Chicago, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and but now I could work on them full time, you know, which is kind of nice. So
Now with the commercial art, if it's lucky, it gets squeezed in occasionally.
I try to not let it squeeze in. Did you see those photos? I got some photos in the dining room, these big photos from the California Club. Dennis called up and asked if I'd put the lettering on them, you know. I said, "Oh, Dennis, you know, really don't do that." And he said, "Oh, I don't know about anybody else that called." I said, "Well, all right, I'll do it." So I got 3 of those things, big photos of early in the history of the California Club, you know, 1920s, 18, around in there, and the old club professional taking a swing and things. So I'm going to letter those for him. I already did 2 others, and they framed these things, you know. But usually anybody asks me to do a commission, I say, this is my time to do what I want to do.
Mm-hmm.